Greetings all, Shard Vixen, and today is July 14th, and it's a Saturday, and what I'm doing is I brought you outside of my house to show you my garden, which isn't very good this year, but it's usually very chaotic, and that's pretty much a fox goddess chaos. Alright, so you're going to get that feeling of movement. So hang on, I guess I'm going to switch over. Okay, so what you see here is my onions. They're really scallions. I think there's some garlic in there, but I haven't really dug them out yet to see. And then there's some sage down here. This is the sage, and it's a little crispy today. This is my artichoke plant, which is an experiment for me, because I don't know how to do artichoke. This is my peppermint plant. It does really, really well. My lens seems foggy. These are my baby roses, and here's the great thing this morning that put a big plus happy smile on my face is I have a rogue tomato plant growing. Last year I had lots and lots of tomato plants. We had so much tomato plants you wouldn't believe it. And then no tomato plants this year at all. I have strawberries out there. The strawberries are out there in the strawberry patch. I have a mixture of lettuce and stuff going, and pumpkins, because pumpkins are really good for you. Excuse that really fast thing. Here's another set of baby roses. Those aren't doing so well. They were inside. This one's doing really, really good. And that's it. This area is really not much of anything this year. Okay, so let's get back to the vlog. Okay, so we're going to finish out the vlog today. Today's title, as the title cards say, is Feminist. So I'll have some links to some sites that I thought were really good at the explanation. One will be a timeline, the Wikipedia timeline. I'm sorry, I use a lot of Wikipedia. I think it's pretty cool because it's easy to track back to see if they've made a mistake or not in their things, but they're pretty good at staying pretty accurate, so that's why I use them. Anyway, so there'll be one about the timeline of feminism, which I'm not really going to get into, and then they'll have what feminism means today, which I also am not really going to get into. This is about what feminism is for me, which I actually am not a feminist anymore. I'm an equalitist, which is not a word. It's my own word, so you can't look it up, but it really means the equality of everyone, no matter their size, their age, their sex, gender, nothing. Everyone's equal. That's how I see it, and all need to be treated accordingly to what would be equal to all. That does change for criminals, I'm sorry to say, but it would, for me, it's based on a more very black and white kind of thing. You kill somebody, you die. Doesn't really matter if you're protecting yourself or not, because violence should be the last resort in all things, but sometimes violence is needed, but if that's your choice, then you have to accept, what comes from that. Now, I don't have an accurate time schedule. It's very early. It's not very early here, but it's still kind of a little chilly for me, being born in California, and I'm up here in Central Oregon. If any of you go, ooh, I too live in Central Oregon, awesome. If you want to meet someplace or whatever, message me, and maybe we can hang out down by the river or something. Anyway, you can't see me really good here. I know that. I'm going to switch it around. I just love this tree behind me. Hopefully cats won't knock anything down. Today is what I call a hurtful day. I pulled a muscle in my back. I think it's a muscle pull. It feels like a muscle pull, but it could also just be my fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia has muscle spasms and muscle cramps, and I have a huge amount of inflammation in my body, so it could just be the tendons or whatever all inflamed. Okay, so I'm going to turn us around and you'll get a beautiful picture of my neighbor's yard, probably, just so I can get them in more light. Okay, my tripod's not doing really well outside, but a $5 tripod that's what can you expect, right? I thought you guys could see my beautiful purple hair, purpley pink. It was a pink wash over purples and other colors. In about 2 weeks or so, I'm gonna bleach it out and then do new colors. All right, so feminism. I personally believe that I've been a qualitist my whole life. Okay, so even though the title of this is feminism, it's really equalitism or feminism, equalitism versus feminism, maybe. So the reason I call myself a equalitist is I probably was a feminist early on. I mean, that's what I think I started out as a feminist, because I remember being, 7 or 8, and I'm dressed in these baby doll dresses my mother would dress me in, with my little page boy, haircut with the little flips on the end, and be out running around, and my mother would be saying, you have to stand this way, you have to look this way, you can't do that, that's not allowed. And it was only rules for me. And when I finally was old enough to say, why am I the only one that has that rules? Why doesn't my brother have those rules? And she would be like, well, because you're a girl, you're a female. There's certain, you have a role. He has a role, you have a role, and I'm going to teach you that role. Which is interesting, because she couldn't cook to save her life. But I was always pushed to cook. I love cooking. I mean, I like to cook. I like to make candies. I like to make cookies. I can't do it anymore, but I like to do it. And any shaking is because the tripod's not really steady, and I'm kind of holding on to it. So, see, there'll be a lot of ahs, because I'm in a lot of pain right now. I can't really stand, and sitting's a problem. I did bring a stool out. Wait. I brought a stool out to hold on to, but, I'm not, there we go. Anyway, so, where was I at? Remember, I forget things too. I wanted to learn how to work on engines when I was young. My dad and my brother would work on engines together, and I really wanted to do that, but I was told no, so I'd stand kind of on the outside and watch them do it, but I wasn't allowed to participate. But my family was kind of odd in the things that they thought were okay and the things that they thought weren't okay. And sometimes I think that they used it like an excuse so not to teach me, because I was a curious person. I've been a curious person my whole life. I always, why can't I do that? What's this? How does this work? Show me. Even if I didn't understand it, I wanted to see how it worked. I wanted you to explain it to me. Even if I was looking at you with big, dumb, cartoon eyes going, what? I still wanted to know what was going on. And I was always, one of the excuses I was always give was, well, that's not something a female does. I never really hated being a female. I just thought that it was really unfair. I mean, I remember thinking this really early in life. I would read books about females being, really strong. Earhart's one that comes to mind, only because she was in the news lately. But, some names are bad for me. I have a really hard time. Laurel Ingalls is kind of another one that I thought of, because even though we don't think of feminism, I think of equalitist, meaning is that you can do whatever it is you want to do to the best of your ability. I would love to be an astronaut. I don't have the ability to be an astronaut. It doesn't mean that I shouldn't quit trying to be an astronaut if that was my goal, but I need to have some realisticness to the fact that, I might not make it as an astronaut, but it shouldn't count against me because I'm female or old or fat. I should still be allowed to try. And that, to me, is what equalitist is. Now, feminist, there's a definition. You see the title of the definition of it. I'm not sure that's always been the definition of feminism. I remember it being different in school. I remember being in high school and having teachers I had one teacher who didn't like me, and it was all about feminism. It was all about power. It was all about going against tradition. And I'm not sure that being a equalitist means going against tradition. If the tradition is binding you, yes, but if the tradition is something that you can wrap around you and it gives you empowerment, I don't think that you should drop it just because, doesn't equal into the feminist. Now, in high school, I was a feminist, and I was very into the American language, how oppressive it was towards females. And so for a long time, way into college, and even now, I'm still that way. Objects, things, words, they don't have gender. They don't have sex. They don't have gender. So they shouldn't be used that way. They shouldn't be used to empower one race, one sex, one gender, one anything. It should be equality for all. And equality for all is really hard. I'm going to tell you this. Okay, so as a feminist in my young adulthood, I went to some NOW rallies. I went to Take Back Some Night things. I went to a lot of stuff, a lot of empowerment, a lot of for women. I went to some rape stuff. I went to things like that because these things affected me. They were things that were happening to me in my life, things that people, told me if you didn't wear that miniskirt, people would treat you that way. Okay, that's the stupidest statement I ever heard. I knew it was stupid when it was told to me, but people believe that stuff. And so I endeavored to, march forward and prove these people wrong. The problem was that some people I was marching with, their idea of feminist was just all-female world. I didn't get that. Why would you want an all-female world? Well, if you hate yourself being female, I suppose that would be okay. But if you really hated male, that would explain it also. I had a gentleman friend that I dated for a little while. He had a lot of hate in him, so we didn't continue dating. And his hate was towards women because his mother, he was raised by a single mother, and he had 2 sisters. And his mother was a feminist, and she hated him in some strange way for being male. Like, he failed her coming out as a male rather than a female. And it was a very sad thing. It was sad how it affected him. It was sad how it changed him and how he looked at females, and how he struggles through life because he really wanted a mate. He really wanted a female mate, but he really also wanted somebody he could subjugate to his violence from what had been taught to him. And my father was kind of the same way. So I didn't want to be with a bunch of people who also were like down with men, up with women. That's not what I wanted. I didn't ever want to be male. It's interesting all my life. I've been accused of being homosexual. I don't have any problem with being homosexual. If that's what I was, I'd be proud about it. I'd wear it. I'd be fighting for it. We'd be down there. And I've been to Pride marches because I have friends and other people that are that way, who are more, I didn't mean the word that way, but who are more inclined to have sex with same sex, or more inclined to have sex with all people. I would personally like a group marriage, which I'll get into in another vlog, but not in this vlog. But I know what I am in my core, and I'm female sexually, but genderly, I don't have a gender. You call me male, you call me female, it doesn't bother me, really. It doesn't. I've had people call me lots of mean or rotten things because, well, let's face it this way. The things that I like are very, in the past, considered by society as boy things. Now, that's not to say I didn't like some girl things. I did. I love miniskirts, high heels, nylons with the back on the back. I like doing my hair up. I used to love wearing makeup. I can't wear makeup anymore. But I didn't like wearing makeup because I had to. I liked wearing makeup because it was a fun kind of way, a mask. I'm going to move my thing a little bit here. So you can get more of me and less of the building. I just noticed that. Sorry. Let me take a breath here. My back's really bothering me. I'm sure I'm going to be sitting a lot today. I went out yesterday and I didn't go swimming, but went out and I was with the kids all day. Anyway, so I always, I don't believe in marriage. I believe in people loving each other and sticking with each other, but I don't believe in marriage, and not because I was a feminist, and not because I'm an equalitist, just because marriage has a way of being very oppressive, and in a subtle way through words and traditions and things like that. And again, like I said, if that's your tradition, that's fine. I'm not pounding on it. These are all my own opinions about me. Have nothing to do with you. If you're happy in your life, that's great. I'm not going to change you. I only want to educate you. And that's what I think was the biggest problem with feminism for me, is it wasn't about educating, it was about changing. And I don't want to change anybody and be whoever he dang well want to. What I want you to do is be educated and make your own choices. I want you to have the freedom to make choices of how you feel. Now, in some places you don't have that freedom, but for me, that's what I thought feminism movement was going to be, and then I became an equalitist all on my own. I meet people who say they're feminists, and I think they're really equalists, but they want that label. I don't need the label. The label's not important to me. I could care less what label you decide I am. And then on to feminists. Some feminists kind of scrolled off into social justice warrior, and in some cases I'm a social justice warrior, but I'm not like they are, in that they attack everybody trying to force change upon people. I am a social justice warrior in the idea that we want to change justice. We want the social part of it. We want to make it more equal. We want that if you are raped by somebody, you have the right to have an abortion rather than have to. My daughter was just telling me they want to make it a law that if you get raped, you have to, and you get pregnant, you have to then go tell the rapist that you want to have an abortion, and if he says no, then you have to keep that child. What idiot is that? That's like the stupidest fucking rule in the world. What? I mean, that's like double, triple punishment on the poor victim of this person who's been raped. I've been raped, but I've never been raped and pregnant. But I love having babies. I probably would keep my baby, but that kind of opens that door to be abusive to that child. So I don't know. You have to really be a strong person who can love no matter what. I like to think I'm that kind of a person, but I haven't been in that position, so I don't know. So anyway, my equalitist part of it, because it's going to be kind of a long thing, is that I decided that I would raise my children non-gender. It's much harder than people think. It is easier now to raise a girl child with no gender, than it is to raise a male child with no gender. So, you have to think about, I just want people to think about when you talk about feminism, what does it mean for you? And then also how do you think that equates in the relationships that you have between male and female? And when I say male and female, I'm talking sexually, and I always said that to that if you have the penis part and you have the vagina part, then the penis part be male part, and the vagina part is female part. But can you be a male with a vagina? Sure, I don't care. If that is how you want to be, I have no problem calling you a he and acknowledging that you are male. It is what you want to be inside your bubble, and then gender helps you define yourself in society. So if you define yourself as female, then you're going to want to be a equalitist, because there are just still things that are not equal for females. I think that everyone should be punished the same way. I think everybody should do sports the same way. I think everybody should be in the military the same way. I don't think that you should. Now, that's not saying that females, with the sexuality of females, with the vagina parts and the breast, enlarged breasts, that doesn't mean that they don't have handicaps. I mean, we all have handicaps in life, and you have to learn how to bypass those handicaps, or they have to be acknowledged as handicaps. One of the biggest handicaps that I think, and people don't agree with me, is having a menstrual cycle. Oh my God. I think everybody should have a menstrual cycle, and that would change the way we view everything. I think all humans should be able to be pregnant. That would change the way people view things. I think that we are very hard on our fathers in our society. We want them to be one way, but yet we won't let them be another way. I find that very one-sided. That's a really bad one-sided. Women can stay home and take care of their children, but people still look at men who want to. Some places people are like, yeah, that's great, but other places in the backgrounds they're secretly going, what's wrong with that family? So it's changing society, and educating people is what I want to do about it. That's the equalitist of me, and how I do that is by just being me. And so if someone says something, I find that there's a lot of, I'll make fun of things that are words. Like, I play one of my favorite games, which I'm not playing at the moment because I don't have it, is No Man's Sky. in a lot of my videos, I'll be all like, no man's sky. No, there should be no being sky. What happened to the females? Where are they? Is this a genderized, genderless? You know, is it really a man? Are we talking about man as a race? That's a word I always wanted to change. I mean, why is human? Why is mankind? Why is man the representative of all of us? And I know there are people out there who are going to be, well, that's nitpicking. You're not, if it doesn't bother you, then it's nitpicking. But it bothers me only in the terms of when you're raising children and you're trying to educate them and you're trying to say we live in a quality world, but we're all humans and we all are a part of mankind. It has a different connotation. Colors is another one. Okay, really quickly. I didn't like pink growing up because pink was associated with girls, and I just didn't think that was fair. What if you like the color black? What if you like the color silver? What if you were very into blue? It was really hard when I was a young girl to find a lot of blue stuff that was blue. It was always some weird pastel blue or some, you know, or blue jeans. I mean, you could get blue jeans that were blue, but for a long time you could only buy blue jeans that were men's sizes. Which is okay, because that's another one of my little things, is men bodies are different than women bodies, yes, in some cases not, but men pants tend to fit better if you're fatter than if you're skinnier. So I wear a lot of men clothes. I wore men clothes for a long time just because I'd find something that looked good, and because I collect comic book shirts. Let's see if we can see this one. So we're going for a ride. See, let's see if I can get up here. This is Wolverine, and if you've been following my blogs, you all know about me and Wolverine. So this is a man's shirt. I had one female shirt that was Wolverine, and it came in at the waist, not as comfortable as this one. Okay, so this is almost like a 20-minute vlog, and I'm sorry for the long vlog. You can dump off at some point in time or not. Anyway, I'm not lecturing you. I'm just saying that's me. Equalitist, always to the end of time, not a feminist. You can wear makeup, you can wear pretty dolly clothes, you can play with dolls, you can dig tunnels, you can be an engineer, you can be an astronaut, you can be a combat soldier, a Navy SEAL. I always tell people when I come back in my next life, I'm going to be a ninja, Navy SEAL, badass, motor scooter that can jump from airplanes and save the world. That's it. That's what I want to be. But male or female, it doesn't matter. I mean, it'd be fun, I guess, to be a male for a while just to see. Because it's an agreement among all of us females in my house that a penis would be an excellent thing to have, and just because of the convenience of peeing standing up. Which you can do as a woman, but there's a little more problematic to that, and that pleasure would probably be much easier than having to use electronic toys. Alright, that's it, and if any of this has embarrassed you, well, remember, I am an adult, and so I can say whatever I want. You don't like it, put your fingers in your ears. I'd put my finger in my other ear, but I'm cold, and cool, it's cool here, and my back really hurts, so I'm doing the hunchy-wunchy. Anyway, I just thought we'd get a different view of scenery. Someday I'll have a GoPro, and we'll go out about and walking and talking about things in my life. Alright, I'm out of here. Y'all have a great weekend, and catch you on the flip side.